How's it going, my dude?
It's going good. I wasn't sure if you were gonna play the RE4 demo or not. I'm glad you did.
I did. I played it off stream because I wanted to like have a little moment to myself.
I did play it on stream my first time, and I'd like to just state that it is incredible.
It's amazing. Like I seriously felt like I was 16 again.
It was incredible.
I remember the day I picked it up from the mall. Like it was just like it was going down nostalgia boulevard.
So did you actually have the GameCube and then you bought RE4 and all that?
Yeah.
Did you have the GameCube before RE4 or did you buy it for RE4?
No, I got it before RE4. So when I got the GameCube, it was when Remake and Zero.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And because I remember I already had the GameCube and I had the I got the collector's edition of RE4.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it's the one with the chainsaw, right? Is that the one you got?
Yeah. So I got the chainsaw controller, and I actually still have those. They survived the fire.
That's good. And the Jill. The Jill survived as well. You made sure you grabbed that.
Yep. You know what?
The Jill statue.
Unfortunately, my Leon could not survive supply and demand.
Yeah. So what's the reason?
My collectors.
What's the reason behind the GameStop canceling all those RE4 remake collector's editions?
So they haven't officially said, and neither has Capcom. At least not since I've heard about it. Yes, since yesterday. I don't know if anything happened after the showcase.
Huh.
But
that sucks.
Yeah, and well, this memo went out about GameStop tried to implement some new system or something like that, and it screwed up the initial pre-orders.
Backfired on them or something?
Yeah. Because that's why I started off with all in-store reservations were getting canceled. And I was like, oh, well, I'm safe. I got it online. And then I got the email like, oh, nope, just kidding. We're also canceling online orders.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, because that's the only thing I heard. It was that the in-store was were getting canceled. And then you told me that the online ones were getting canceled too. And so I was like, well, damn, they're all getting canceled then.
Pretty much. I was like, let's see, it went live on the 20th, right? And I got my pre-order was on the 21st day. Like, it must have been like 2 or 3 in the morning or whatever.
Right.
So like I had to have been like one of the first waves of pre-orders, but for some reason mine got canceled too. So that's why I was wondering. I was asking one of the guys. I'm like, well, then who the hell's getting it? I mean, like the first like 10 people. Like, that's it.
I don't know where else you would pre-order it. That's why I asked. Like, does Amazon pre-order stuff like that?
No, because that collector's edition was a GameStop exclusive.
Oh. So what the hell then?
Yeah. So that was another thing. Like if it's a GameStop exclusive, that means like someone had to have known how many, like what numbers they needed.
Right. That was a huge screw up.
Or them. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Well, damn. Though that means those things are going to be probably rare, or I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Cause see, I was eventually gonna just maybe pick up the Leon statue like on eBay, like someone would just list it on eBay like a couple years later, a year later, and I'll pick it up. Like cheaper, right? Like usually they sell the figures. You know, usually down the line figures sometimes drop in price, so I'll just. That was my mentality, but now with what's going on, if these things are rare.
Well, not like. Just because of all the publicity now, I think they're going to be worth a lot more. People are going to try and scalp as much as they can.
Right. I mean, that
so
sucks.
If the statues were going for like $400 or $500, now they're probably going to go upwards of 1,000.
Majin says that's going to be incredibly expensive. You'd be amazed, Majin. Sometimes you would find some figures like from collector's editions cheaper on eBay. Sometimes you have to give it time, right? But if you're literally like looking like a few months after, they're gonna be still like scalping prices or whatever. But sucks about the collector's edition, just as that your order got canceled.
Yeah.
Snake here. Thanks for the follow.
But at least the game is incredible. At least the demo is. It gives us a good impression that the whole game, you know, is going to be hopefully really good. It did take me a while to get used to like the aiming and stuff, and like the knife, you know, has mechanics now. So you have to get used to how that works and everything. But
I like that it's all kind of like a stance now, or like its own standalone weapon. Like if you just pull it out,
he'll go
keep hitting R2, he'll start like swiping.
Yeah. He'll like actually have like a defensive stance if there's enemies nearby, and like it has different attacks. So you hit R2 and he does like slashes, but if you like actually hold the knife button and then do it, he'll do like jabs. So there's like
I really like the jabs too. Like they're like really.
Yeah,
I love how they kind of like leans in for it.
It's like the best of all Resident Evil, right? It's like, you know, like Chris would do the jabs too, right? In the original game, like the actual jabs, and then if I remember correctly. And
did he?
Well,
Maybe
I know
Jill did the swipe, right?
I just know that the some Resident Evil games they would do the jab, like the jab for like the knife, and then on some they would do the swipes. And Leon does both here. The demo is basically beat by beat the original in a way, except it's just it has extra stuff, just like the way Resident Evil Remake is beat by beat to the original Resident Evil, but it has extra stuff. And that is extremely awesome to see. The game's also apparently getting a VR mode. So
I'm also really excited about that.
that's gonna be crazy. Because this game, like, I don't know if I didn't tell you this, but when I played it the first time, I was so tightened up, like in the village part when the chainsaw guy comes out, Dr. Salvador. My stomach was so tense that after it was over, I was like, "Oh my god, my stomach hurts." Like I got that feeling from it, and that is awesome to that's an awesome feeling to get.
Right.
So I just hope for the best for the rest of the game. Hopefully they don't cut anything and they just add more to it. You know, the island is okay if they redesign it a little bit, because that was probably the weakest part in the original game. The island does have some very important sequences, like the regenerators, you know, the lab, Mike showing up to help. So hopefully the majority.
They already showed Mike in like one of the cutscenes, I think.
Yeah, it was the one at the PlayStation State of Play. Is when they showed Mike and stuff, and then Lewis a little bit more. There's like a definitely like a deeper relationship between like Lewis and Leon, right? Or Luis. So
Luis.
I haven't seen much of Ashley yet to actually know if she's better than the original, but she obviously doesn't have the Sandy voice from SpongeBob SquarePants, you know, because that's the voice actress that plays Ashley, right? It's she also does Sandy.
Yeah,
Sandy Butt Cheeks or whatever her name is. I forgot.
Sandy Butt Cheeks, I believe, was her legal name.
Right.
Mitsuo! We are legally bound by law to call her Sandy Butt.
Sandy Cheeks, I think that's her name.
Sandy Cheeks.
Yeah. Cheeks is in there.
Hey, Mitsuo, what's up, dude?
This looks like Mitsuo played it, 10 out of 10. Majin, you haven't played it, but you've seen it. What do you think? What do you think of the remake? Because you know, Justice and I are pretty big Resident Evil fans. I was always worried and skeptical about RE4 remake. I've kind of like Justice. I kind of like was what do you call it when you stay away from everything? Media blackout in a way.
Media blind.
I was kind of like that, but I did see a little bit, you know, here and there, just a little bit. But after, you know, again, playing this demo, man, they definitely adding some more horror elements to it.
I think a lot of our concerns have been kind of alleviated by this demo.
The music is incredible. I think when I first played it, I wasn't really listening to the music because I was too focusing on surviving, you know, and like not dying. It was so intense. Like the music was just like it was just I was not hearing it at all. Second playthrough, I started paying a little bit more attention to the music, and it sounds great. I like the new remake music. Majin mentioned that it sounded like Doom 2016 style music, and you know that's kind of true in a way. You know, it's like it's hitting hard, but it makes everything more intense. The music for sure.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it so far. I think this game has the potential to be just as good as the original Resident Evil 4, which is shocking to say. Maybe even better. But can you imagine if it's better than the original?
It's only happened once.
It would literally be. It's only happened once. Resident Evil Remake, better than the original. RE2 Remake had the potential. It has the potential, and it's still a really good game. But they did, they did cut some stuff out from the game.
And you know what? I would argue the same for Resident Evil 3, honestly. I think people give it a lot of flack, and it deserves it for sure, but I think it's still really good. I
still think it's a good game too, Justice. I think RE3 Remake is still a good game, as long as you don't compare it to the original. If you start doing that,
that's the hard part.
If you start really doing that, then because at least RE3 Remake is completely like, it's its own take. Like it's it's different, completely different. Right.
I kind of like that they have two different like canon worlds now. Like they have the remake canon.
Yeah.
Which I think is still based on the original remake.
I mean,
I think everything date wise, I think still ties back to the original remake.
I'm not sure if Capcom has specifically said that the remake games are supposed to be a part of the original. Like if they go hand in hand, together. In the terms of the lore, but I like to just think of it as its own. Like it's the remake timeline, and you got the original timeline. That's the way I like to see it. And if you look at it that way, they flow better together, right? You play RE1 remake, then play RE2 remake, then RE3 remake, then RE4 remake. It's that own timeline. Right. I still think they need to go back and make Code Veronica remake.
Awesome.
I actually hope they would do that over doing an RE5 remake. I guess we'll see, right? We'll see what happens.